Funny watching other territories or countries dealing with this shit, and many we think America's going to shit. We get to reference some other country and see they're like miles ahead of us in terms of going to shit, if you will, and allowing COVIDs to just have them doing insanely crazy things that make absolutely no fucking sense. Yet they proceed to do it anyway. Yet again, this dickhead, I think it's, Michael Gunner, his Northern Territory Chief Minister over in Australia, mate. Let's listen to what this guy had to say and what he's going to be doing with his sector of the country. Let's take a look.
I will now go through each of these decisions. First, the lockout. The fully vaccinated can continue as they were. For people who are not vaccinated, lockdown rules will apply to everyone 16 and above. If you are not fully vaxxed, stay home. You are at greater risk of catching COVID, becoming ill, and needing hospital care. You may only leave.
Now, again, that first part is medical misinformation. Specifically, that as far as we know, that this whole greater risk of catching COVID thing is with the numbers of breakthrough cases and the fact that we have more vaccinated people than we've ever had, and all around the world, you're seeing levels, or rather spikes that you've never seen. You have record cases. And despite all these people being vaccinated, so good and goddamn well that it's from a transmissibility thing. So when it comes to catch it, this whole risk, I know that you like to believe that because it seems to justify what you want to do to the people that are unvaccinated, but it's simply not true. And what you're saying is simply medical misinformation at minimum. That first part of that.
Leave home for 3 reasons. Medical treatment, including COVID testing or vaccination.
So, by the way, he's given reasons as to why you are allowed, if you are unvaccinated, to leave the house.
For essential goods and services like groceries, power tokens, medications. To provide care and support to a family member or person who cannot support themselves. You cannot travel more than 30 kilometres from your home when leaving for one of the 3 reasons, or the nearest practical destination. If you need to go to the hospital and it's more than 30 kilometres from your home, that's okay. There are only 3 reasons to leave the home now, not 5. Work is not a reason to leave the home for the unvaccinated.
So basically, fuck your job. Essentially, if you work, seems like if you have a job in which you work to, of course, provide for yourself, Michael Gunner is telling you to go fuck yourself. And looks like you won't be working at all because apparently, if you're unvaccinated, you don't deserve to work and you can't work. And that's not a legitimate reason to leave the house. That's what he just said. I'll rewind it for you just a little bit for those of you that didn't necessarily catch what he just said.
Only 3 reasons to leave the home now, not 5. Work is not a reason to leave the home for the unvaccinated.
As you heard, you just said work is not a reason to leave the home for the unvaccinated.
The Chief Health Officer has also determined that restriction of movement is critical right now and that 1 hour of exercise for the next 4 days is not essential.
All right, so now he's saying exercise isn't essential. So there was, I know Australia kind of been playing this game of chicken with its, I don't know if that's the proper term, but really been fucking over its citizens. And, you had the instance where you could at least go outside to kind of work out for an hour. Now you can't do that. It's not essential, is what he's saying.
Remember, these restrictions only apply to those who are not fully vaccinated.
And not fully vaccinated, keep in mind that that term, this is why they're starting to use that term, is because a lot of you guys that got 1 or 2 jabs are no longer considered fully vaccinated. Definitely if you got it on earlier on when they were available to you guys. So not fully vaccinated basically means unvaccinated. It's the same thing. Now, I know this is one of the more extreme things that we're seeing. I guess you can make the argument that in effect, you're seeing a lot of that stuff in other countries. And what I mean by in effect, meaning that you have like these sort of restrictions that are placed upon people be it mandates, for example, that are putting people out of work, or they're being coerced or extorted into getting the vaccinations. And that in itself is a similar thing where these people cannot work. Now, this is more, of course, this is it's a state discriminatory policy. And it's amazing that these people and the folks that advocate for stuff like this think that they're the good guys, right? They have no sense of like self-awareness to put two and two together to realize that they're the baddies here. They are the baddies. They're objectively the bad people here. But this is worked over the course. This is what I need you guys to understand. This is how it's worked over the course of human history. The most dangerous people who have created some of the most, blatant forms of like human atrocities and have facilitated those, be it directly or indirectly in ways like famines and all of that, by way of like economic policy, have been done by people who think that they're doing it or claim that they are doing it on behalf of their fellow man or for their fellow man and for their health, for their well-being. And this is why when people present this, that, okay, it's different now, right? No, or it's different. We're not bad because we're looking to try to save people's lives. And I would encourage you to go read the works and listen to the works of like Zedong, Pol Pot, and Stalin, to, even Funny Mustache Man. All of these guys did what they did, and it was their people that they claimed that they were keeping in mind as they were doing that, and though we knew it was objectively bad. These people have created a boogeyman in their head, and they fortunately consider the unvaccinated their political enemies. And this is why they feel justified in everything that it is that they are going to do to you. And now you have all these people who sit up here and scream about inclusion and all of those sorts of buzz terms that they like to use out there, are using literally state orchestrated, operated, funded, and sanctioned discriminatory efforts, which is the worst ones, right? We ain't talking about private institutions. We're talking about state, the actual state, utilizing its power, that's illegitimate, by the way, to then force upon an entire populace a discriminatory policy. That's what you're getting in Australia. That's what you're getting in pockets of United States of America and all around the world here. And these guys have presented themselves as if they are the good guys. And that's what makes them far more dangerous, because they don't even have at least not their minions. It's one thing, I guess, maybe for their leaders, they know good and damn well what it is that they're doing, but they're minions. So the people that aren't even politicians but champion these types of policies think that they're good guys. They can't put two and two together, and they think they are the good guys. And this is why there's no reason to mince for words for these people. These folks want you fucking dead. They want you ostracized. They want you deprived of any sort of legitimate standard of living, all because you won't get a jab for something with a 99% survival rate. And just to be clear, context does matter. You're talking about a populace full of a lot of people that have already caught this shit, have built natural immunity. We've seen these studies, many of these studies that have come out that have shown in a lot of cases that the natural immunity is far more protective in comparison to this jab-induced immunity. Yet these people still want you to be getting jabbed because it has nothing to do with health and everything to do with your allegiance, and they demand it. And any of you guys like myself who go around unvaccinated and are continuing to hold the line and tell these people to fuck themselves are a constant reminder to these people that there are those of us that will do that are going to do that, and they can't have that. This is about your allegiance and nothing more than that. And these guys are pieces of shit and should be treated as such.
You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake.
Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.